On. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 34 of Through the Mist. We are down one mana today, but that's alright. We hope the best for them, and they will join us next week. That's the plan, right? Right.
Yes.
So why don't we jump right on in, because I believe we stopped a little bit on a cliffhanger last time. There was some traveling through the mists. You all had met this group of wandering folk that you found out were a sister and her three brothers. They were trying to find the rest of their family, but it seems as though at least Dulcime, the sister, has some kind of ability to control where they wind up when they travel through the mists. And so after a strange event in a inn in the town of I'll give bonus points to anyone who remembers the town's name. Lansdowne, I think? Not important to the greater story. Sure. Where her Lilith was getting a tarot card reading, but the cards came alive and weird tendrils came out and tried to attack you. And while that was happening, the spectral image of your friend Umrak appeared and tried to once again convince you to do what he said, to go and get these things from these different realms so that you can make your way home. But something just seemed off, and so burning the cards and defeating these strange tendrils, you managed to vanquish the immediate threat anyway. So Dulcime had said that if all you're trying to do is get home, she thought she could do that. And her and her brothers were going to be leaving in the morning. So you slept a fairly restful night within the tavern or upstairs in one of the inn rooms. And the next morning you went down to meet the siblings and headed out of town as Dulcime had kind of worked some kind of, not necessarily magic, but focus that you noticed brought the mists up around you. And as you continued, all three of you, four of you actually, sorry, including Lyra, suddenly had piercing pain stab you in the head with no apparent source, just this horrid pain. And as the mist burned away, you noticed that your footsteps were smushier, a little more difficult to walk as sand revealed itself beneath your feet, and this hot, baking oppressiveness set in around you, and you can just smell the like sand and heat coming from all around you. And Dulcime had said, well, that wasn't supposed to happen, as she stopped and turned around to look at you. And then nose dribbled from her blood. Blood dribbled from her nose.
It's a thing.
Right.
It's a thing.
As she collapsed into the sand, and as she does that, you hear close by another thump. And I believe the only one that would notice what it was would be Twiggy. Twiggy, you hear the other thump, and you can see it as Lyra has collapsed as well into the sand. At that moment, Dominic, one of the brothers, shouts, "Dulcime!" and jumps off the cart, which has stopped, and runs over to her. What do you all do?
Oh my word!
That's fair.
I think Lilith immediately is going to try and lay hands on her and see if she can't, help in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
So it may be a low-level cure wounds.
Okay. So on Dulcime, just clarifying.
On Dulcime. Mm-hmm.
Okay. As you come around the horse...
Very low level.
As you come around the horse and you kneel down next to Dulcime, her brother's, trying to hold her neck and head, but also trying to kind of shake her awake. And just behind her, you also notice that laying in the sand is the unmoving form of Lyra. But as you cast this spell, Twiggy, what are you up to? Seeing all this going on.
You know, this is what happens when you travel with a second-rate wizard. Doesn't know anything about conjuration magic. I would totally show how to do it, but I didn't get long enough of a nap when I was sleeping in that cart, so like, I'm just gonna have to hang out here, I think, and think about what she's done.
Okay. And Dizzy, as you are, I believe you are kind of back. Yep. Marius is looking at you and doesn't really know what's going on quite yet, and begins walking forward until he sees Dulcime, at which point he rushes over and is kind of standing there. And you also can see Enrico, and he has just kind of a strange look on his face, like he's a little befuddled. And he disappears around the corner of the wagon and goes out of view. What do you do?
I'm gonna walk forward and see what the commotion is all about.
So you're gonna walk towards the horse?
Yeah, I'm gonna walk towards the horse.
Okay. So as you walk towards the horse, you can see that there's a group of people. It looks like most everyone has kind of surrounded the form of Dulcime, except for you do notice that Twiggy is sitting on the horse, kind of watching everything and muttering about how this secondhand wizard didn't do it right. You don't see Enrico or Lyra.
Okay, well, can I try looking for Lyra at least?
Sure. Do you want to continue around the wagon, or like essentially go around the horse to the other side of the wagon?
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
As you skirt around the horse in this group, you see Enrico, who's just kind of staring down at Lyra and then looks up at the group. You think he's more or less looking at Dulcime, the way his eyes dart around between the figures before him. And then he looks back down at Lyra, and he just kind of looks around. He seems completely unsure of what to do, and finally kneels down and just kind of lightly, not even like taking hold of their shoulder, but more just like tapping Lyra's shoulder. Are you okay?
Can I do like a medicine check or something?
Sure. Go ahead and roll that as you head over to Lyra's still form. You don't notice any obvious wounds. There is a little bit of blood coming from her nose, but as you're looking, you actually feel a little bit of wetness just under your nose as well, and just kind of out of reaction, you wipe your hand under it and you look down, and there's a little bit of blood on your finger. Not a bunch, but a little bit. Your nose also is bleeding.
Right. I'm gonna call Lilith over.
Okay. We'll come back to that in just a moment, as Lilith has stepped away. But while that's going on, Twiggy, you also notice, while you're kind of talking about this, there's a little bit of wetness on your nose, and even though your nose kind of stays that consistent, comfortable, wet state that a fox's nose would stay, it's a little uncomfortable, and you do notice there's a little bit of redness if you wipe it away. Not a bunch, but a little bit.
Prestidigitation. I'm going to make a big show of it too. It's very important that everyone bask in the glory that is my very powerful magic. In fact, I will prestidigitate myself very clean and sparkly. The sun is perfect for gazing upon my beautiful fey self. I will strike a pose on the back of that horse, walk up its neck, and walk down its neck like it's a runway. There'll be some posing, power pose, glitter, That's right.
So while the
right.
runway prestidigitation is happening, Lilith, you cast that spell, intending to hopefully wake Dulcime, or whatever, and you notice that the blood doesn't continue out like to pour from her nose or anything, and you don't notice any other wounds, but your magic does not wake her. And then at this point, two of the brothers have joined you and are kind of kneeling down. There's a little bit of glitter just floating down from the horse, like near the horse's head, and Dizzy is over by Lyra with Enrico, and Disney asked you to come over.
I will like pat her and make like a little sign of my god on her head, and then head on over to Dizzy and see what's going on.
Okay. Dizzy, what do you say?
I'm just gonna point at Lyra, and then I'm gonna point at the blood from my nose and point at Lyra's nose. And do you know what's going on? Also, Lyra is unresponsive, so.
Oh no. Lilith is gonna shake her. Just because magic has not worked well with her before.
Sure.
So she's just gonna go and shake her.
As you shake her, like that little bit of blood kind of dribbles out. Doesn't really get worse or anything, but neither does Lyra waken.
I'm gonna drag her next to Dulcime, like by the foot. Not pick her up nicely, but I'm gonna kind of just drag her, just because she would appreciate everything better that way.
Gotcha. So you grab her foot, and you can hear the sound of like the sand going into the like midriff shirt that they wear, and like building up back there as you drag Lyra that direction. You, I guess, make a perception check.
Oh boy.
Why not, right?
Yeah.
Nice. It crosses your mind that your nose is not bleeding. Your head definitely is ringing in the after effects of whatever that was. Like, there was definitely that pain, but it didn't seem to cause your nose to bleed like it did the others. And there's this, like, as you walk back towards Dulcime and the others, and Twiggy is fawning over himself and is trying to, like, be as fabulous as possible. You'd think that with this like really bright sun, Twiggy's colors should be like equally as bright, like almost obtrusive, to the point that like the neon colors that you were used to. But the light's so harsh, it almost seems to be washing out your vision of colors, the way that your eyes are perceiving colors. And you can feel the heat, but it's not really affecting you yet. Those are the things that cross your mind as you walk back over.
Weird.
So as Lyra is dragged towards Dulcime, Dizzy, what are you up to?
I'm gonna try to figure out, I guess, what's going on and why my nose is bleeding.
Okay. I guess you tell me, what do you think is going on, and why do you think as Dizzy, of course, what do you think would first come to mind?
It's gonna wonder if the air is super dry, and maybe that's what the reasoning might be.
As you're looking around, you see just sand and sand dunes for as far as you can see, and the sky is kind of a muted blue as opposed to the normal like deep blue that you're used to. it is oppressively hot and dry, it's definitely a possibility.
Okay. Yeah. I'll see if I have some water or something and maybe drink that and see if it makes me feel any better.
Okay. You definitely have your water skin, and you can drink it. It's already to the point where it's just like lukewarm already, instead of that kind of like ambient coolness. It's already starting to like warm up to be kind of when you take a sip. But it's still water. It's still refreshing you adjacent.
Okay.
Ew.
Twiggy, your runway can only, I mean, I don't know how many times is appropriate to walk back and forth on the horse. So when you're nearing that number, what do you do afterwards?
Well, given that they all keep like fawning over people passed out on the ground, not this fabulous creature, I think Twiggy gets bored with the display, given that they don't appreciate it anyway, and will slide down to the shade that the horse casts on the sand, and stare impatiently, and be like, so when are we doing that again? Like, are we there, or are we she gonna like she's taking a break?
As you flit down, you're saying this, and you land on the sand. The horse hasn't really been there for very long. And so as you put your bare paws on the sand, it is scorchingly hot. It is not enough to damage you, but it is absolutely uncomfortable. And how dare it be this hot, first of all.
Exactly.
But
prestidigitation, that is the best spell in the world. Oh my god. Cool that area down continuously.
Okay.
Some fans.
So Lilith,
What is this?
What is this?
What is this?
So Lilith, you arrive at Dulcime dragging Lyra. What did you want to do?
Oh boy. Gosh. That's such a good question. Now, didn't Lyra have a protect from good and evil at one point? Just
She
out of curiosity.
did that you cast on her. That was a while ago, though.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely before you got to the inn, which would have been yesterday. So yeah,
Okay.
that definitely is gone at this point.
Yeah. Let's do a prayer of healing. Something a little bit different.
Okay.
And we'll do it on Lyra.
Okay.
A little bit better. Not
15.
much better.
Okay, so you stand or kneel, or what does it look like?
So I'm going to kneel on Lyra's side and make some symbols in the sand around her and kind of them. You know, ouch, hot, woof. Make some symbols. And you know, I'm gonna thume out. I'm just gonna thume out like Lyra, and then also shake her a little bit, like vigorously, not dangerously, but like really vigorously.
Okay.
And that's gonna be part of it.
So do me a favor, make a con save. Sorry, not con.
Oh.
Charisma. Make a charisma save.
Whew. Oh boy.
So you kneel down to do this, and you're trying to pull on this divine energy from your god. And something that you're just used to, it shouldn't be an effort or anything. But as you do so, that pain in the back of your head just kind of needles into this like hot burning point. And like you kind of have to squint from the pain. It's not even something you choose to do. It's just like a reaction to it. And nothing happens.
Oh boy. I'm gonna call Twiggy and Dizzy over.
Okay.
I think, we need to put our heads together and figure out what's going on. Now, you said her brothers are unaffected. They're fine.
None of them collapsed, but as you're looking around, Enrico is meandered up, and so all three brothers are there. They're all trying to rouse Dulcime, but you see that as... Actually, I want to ask first, Dizzy, are you going to answer the call of Lilith?
Oh yeah, I will. I will head on over.
Okay. So you do notice that all of them are beginning to sweat profusely, and I think Marius would be like, we should probably move her into the wagon, get her out of the sun.
Okay.
But otherwise, they seem unaffected.
Oh boy. I mean, I'm okay with moving both of them into the wagon.
Oh,
But
yes, absolutely.
Oh boy.
So Enrico will take Dulcime's feet, and sure, Marius will take her under the armpits, and they'll carry their sister back to the back of the wagon. Dominic will open it up and help you to put Lyra in there as well.
Oh boy.
What's your passive perception?
That is 10.
10.
No, that's 16. I'm sorry.
16. Oh, 16. Nice.
Uh-huh.
You notice the flickering shape of Umrak seems to be not
God.
standing,
Dang
but
it.
always kind of in the same spot in your vision, flickering in and out.
What a putz.
Almost. What a putz.
Lilith is gonna let everyone know that she sees Umrak.
Okay.
He's being a putz.
Once.
No doubt he has done something to make them land there.
Once she points it out, Dizzy and Twiggy, you both start to notice that this flicker in your eye that at first you didn't really... it was more kind of adjacent to the heat waves coming off the distance. You realize it's a little more solid, and no matter where you look, it's always kind of in the same spot in your vision. And yeah, that could be Umrak. Although why this vision of him is moving around with your gaze, unknown.
So what should we do about Umrak?
Well, we should clearly ask him what he wants. Because that's what he wants. He wants to tell us the same old, sorry old things again. He wants a knife. He wants a sword. He wants us to do what he says. We should at least hear him out. Lilith is going to be
guess,
super
but-
impatient. Just like, Umrak. She's going to thum it.
As you attempt to
Maybe.
thum, your voice says Umrak, but there's no extra bolstering that you're used to.
Oh, fabulous.
But that pain just is in the back of your head. Dizzy, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just gonna ask. Maybe we should ask him, what's going on, because he probably knows. This is probably his doing.
Twiggy, what do you think? You look thoughtful over there.
Wow. I mean, she might be a second-rate wizard, but he's not. I think. Pretty sure that he's a wizard, right? He's a wizard. Wizards recognize who wizards are, and I am a wizard, and he's a wizard because he does wizard things. So maybe this is a situation where we strike an accord, where we're like, tit for tat and this for that and shake a toe and kiss a doe. I think that's how this works, right? Yeah.
Dizzy, you've gotten used to Twiggy's attempts at rhyming, but being a superior performer, not that you've ever told Twiggy that, but it's a little cringeworthy this time around.
Mm-hmm.
So, Lilith, you call out Unrak, and Dizzy, do you have like intent behind you that you want to ask?
Yeah, I'll if he comes over, I'll ask.
Okay. So as this intent kind of solidifies between the three of you, where Twiggy, you want to talk to the other wizard, obviously, and Lilith, you're just getting irritated at this point, and you want answers, and Dizzy, you also want answers, and obviously this has something to do with Umrak. That vision solidifies, but is no longer moving around in your sight, is instead standing at the back of the wagon with the group of you. You don't notice that any of the brothers who are like gently laying Dulcime inside, or Enrico standing outside with you at this point, none of them notice the appearance of this dwarf with glowing eyes. So you don't get the feeling that they can see him. Oh, this doesn't look like home, does it? Interesting. I guess that your plan just didn't work. I guess you're going to have to listen to me this time, aren't you?
Can it, Umrak, or whoever is using Umrak to speak to us? All right. What is it? What will it take to save Umrak? Because he's clearly not you. Help Lyra. Help these nice folks that we're hanging out with, and get us all back home. What is it gonna take?
Well, obviously you have a method of traveling around now with much more ease. Fantastic. You just need to do as I said and collect some items from across these realms that you've mysteriously found yourself in.
Don't be smarmy, please. We've got no patience for this.
Yeah, I notice it seems a little warm here as he looks at the sweat starting to drip off of Dizzy, and Twiggy's fur is starting to fall a little, be a little less poofy as you're beginning to sweat as well.
Unacceptable. Prestidigitation.
So
Unacceptable.
What is it that you want us to get here? And how are we going to do that? We can't even get around. How are we even supposed to keep the horse alive?
That's not really my problem now, is it?
Well, you said you wanted items. I guess we could just sit here and die.
That
sort of.
really is up to you. Is that what you want, or do you want to go home?
Does that help you? I mean, does that really help you?
I want you to help yourself. I want you to help me help you get us home.
Uh-huh. I want to know who you really are. I would really like to know who you really are.
Well, I'm your friend, Umrak. Go ahead and make a charisma save.
Oh, boy.
Oh dear.
Oh.
I don't know what it is about the dice and this save, but
Ouch.
the dice hate you all when it comes to this particular save. That's what happens. He says, I'm Umrak. Now, I'm definitely not going to tell you that you believe that, but nothing else happens.
Oh boy. God, is there anything?
He's looking around. He's like, "Oh, you have such a long journey ahead of you too to get. There's a being that resides here, wrapped in ancient cloth. Just bring a scrap of that to me. You know, that sword seems to be weighing you down. You should just hand it over, and we'll be one step closer to home." And
Weird.
Lyra obviously doesn't need that dagger any longer, does she?
Weird. These words you're saying, they're so weird.
So weird.
What direction is this being that we have to find?
Well, I guess I could give you that. You're facing the right direction, or rather your horses.
Horses. Is there any advice you would give to get through the heat, to get us from here to there?
Unfortunately, there's not much I can do other than point you in the right direction and give you moral support.
Oh, that's fabulous. No water, though. No breezes. No clouds.
Unfortunately, it's not within my power.
Can you float over us to provide shade?
He kind of eyes you as his eyes squint together. No.
She's gonna smile and be like really pleased with herself that is an idea. Like, yeah, that would be amazing.
No, but I would likely hurry before you're the only one left standing.
I see. I see. Well, I guess we're heading off in a direction, unless Twiggy, you want to talk to him.
Well, I mean, I just want to make sure that we can confirm that he's a wizard, and all the boxes are checked off. Quest that he's not going to do himself, even though he's infinitely more powerful than the rest of us in this particular situation. Doesn't have the power to supply us with the means to do any of the things. Definitely a wizard. Hires the first people he finds to do the job. We probably weren't even the first. Probably had other people doing this for him. These are like the hallmarks of a wizard. I mean, have you ever been to a wizard's tower and they're like, oh my god, get the things? Wizards. Not unlike, Elder Fae. Which we haven't done a test on that one yet, have we? Elder Fae or wizard? Which is it, Umrak?
His face turns towards you, so you get the feeling that he's looking at you, because again, glowing eyes, no pupils.
Also, could be wizard or Elder Fae.
Stares at you, and doesn't answer.
No answer. Mysterious stare. Well,
So Dizzy, did you have questions?
I did. I just want to ask, like, what did you do to Lyra, and why do you know as much as you do?
Oh, there's nothing that I did to Lyra. It's more of what you're all not doing for yourselves, which is helping yourselves. If you would have just listened and not tried to take a escape route out, I have a feeling this likely wouldn't have happened.
You seem to know a lot about our current situation, despite not being here.
It's true. It's true. I've been blessed by my patron with the knowledge.
Who might your patron be, out of curiosity?
Oh, well, my genie, of course. Which, in character, you all know that is the case. But...
Well, and we still have the lamp, or I do. I have the lamp, right?
You do.
You have the lamp. And he hasn't asked for the lamp at all.
He has not.
I'm gonna look at everybody. What do you think?
Elder Fae.
I think that we should not listen to anything that he has to say.
Well, I mean, if we get this piece of cloth, then it's another enchanted item. Then that means we've got the knife and sword and a piece of cloth from who knows what this thing is.
He seems pretty insistent on us getting these things for him, and I don't think any good can come of it.
Well,
Well,
if
then
you
we have
agree,
to
you're
figure-
kind of bound.
True. Well, then we have to find our way out, unless it seems like our magic doesn't seem to work on him, or at least work on him yet.
Yeah.
Speaking
we
of
should-
your magic, doesn't it feel strange to be so far from your god? And he turns his face towards you, Lilith.
Lilith just smiles back. You're really sweet. That's a thoughtful thing to say.
You're really sweet. Sure. What do you all do?
Well, not that we are doing anything that is asked of us, not that we are agreeing to do any of those things, but the horse is facing in the correct direction, so we should just go in that direction and do whatever we want.
Yes, you should do that. Let me know how it turns out for you. I'll be watching.
It's gonna turn out awesome, and you can't watch without our permission. Otherwise, you have to pay us.
Let's just put it on my tab.
I mean, I do like a good tab. You're on.
Oh boy.
Write down. I mean, he didn't agree to the rates, but the rates have been agreed to.
What do you say, Lilith?
Right.
Why don't you just hand over the sword and we'll call it good for today. I won't pester you for at least until the sun rises tomorrow.
You're so funny and so thoughtful. I really appreciate it. We must be on our way.
Enjoy
Thanks,
carrying
bye.
that through the many miles you have.
She's just gonna smile. Oh.
He flickers out.
I really hope he's still watching, because, like, I am charging by the hour. I mean, there is, of course, a
Oh, I'm
premium
sure
that
he's
is
still
involved.
watching. But I guess we
Should
probably
be.
should head in that direction.
And as he
Yeah.
flickers out... Sorry, Diz, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just agreeing that we should head in that direction.
Okay. As he flickers out and you're all kind of taking stock of things, you notice that the brothers are all just kind of staring at you. Not like you're crazy, but more like they're trying to understand who you're talking to. And Dizzy, you notice that Umrak is in the wagon, standing next to Lyra, looking down at the dagger that she carries. And
Yeah.
it's almost like he's trying to, like, his hand is like hovering above it, like he's trying to pick it up. And he looks a little frustrated, and then he blinks out again.
Okay, well, I will tell that to Lilith when Lilith gets back.
Okay. Right now, Lilith is just standing in place, staring off. A little AFK shows up above her head.
Also, can I try to use Cure Wounds on Lyra, or will that not?
Absolutely, you could try. Is that something you would like to do?
Yeah.
Okay. I have an interesting question for you. Where do you think your magic comes from?
I would say from within, but I don't know if that is an acceptable answer.
No, that's a great answer. Why don't you make a charisma saving throw for me?
Wow.
What is up with the dice? With your natural one being a 7, you do go, like, you climb into the wagon and go over to Lyra, and you're just having a hard time connecting. You don't know if it's the heat or the strange kind of growing pain in your head. It seemed like, and you actually notice that once you like kind of have this intention of trying to heal Lyra, the pain just kind of gets worse. You just can't seem to like think of how to make the spell work.
Okay.
Is there anything else you'd like to try?
No, I think that's it for now.
Okay. So, Twiggy, you've been prestidigitating your fur back to being clean. It's kind of a non-stop thing at this point. There's sand clinging to you. It's very hot and oppressive here, and so there's like this constant like blow drying effect that you have to do. Is there anything else that you'd like to do?
Get in the cart.
Okay.
God, at least it's not bright in here. There's shade.
You do notice that it is at least a few degrees cooler in there.
Is there any like? I mean, she won't mind. She's passed out. She's fine. Is there any silk in here? Any silks? Nice, like flowy.
Yeah. Yeah, the scarves
Yeah.
and such.
I'm going to borrow those. And by borrow, I mean acquisition them. Rights of the Fae, of course. When encountering beautiful silks and all flowy things, and the owner is passed out, they are now mine. Because in their unconscious state, they wrote in their will that may or may not enact in 50 years that they will be bequeathed to me, and so now I'm just borrowing them against that time. That's exactly how that works.
Right.
And yeah, we shook hands in a dream once. It happened.
So while you're going about collecting these scarves, these silk scarves and such, Lilith, Dizzy has told you that they saw Umrak appear for a moment, try to take the dagger from Lyra, but wasn't able to, and then looked frustrated and blinked out.
What a shady little man. It can't be Umrak. Umrak is so sweet. Umrak is a pleasant guy, and has more character and would be more forthcoming with us. So this clearly is someone taking over Umrak's appearance. What a shady creature. Lilith is still gonna kind of continue on, shaking her head, but also start muttering to her patron, just like almost kind of slowly singing like a nursery rhyme, just like muttering toward her patron as she walks, just to kind of lift her spirits and ask for guidance continually as they go on.
Okay.
And yeah, and just ask everybody to keep an eye, or ask Dizzy if he'd keep an eye on everyone that's inside, so they're still protected.
And while this is going on, you notice that Dizzy also attempted to use some magic on Lyra, and it didn't work as far as how that looks. Dizzy, how did that look?
Just Dizzy looks very disappointed, so very, I guess, there's no flare or anything. He just kind of put their hand on Lyra, and like nothing happens, and then they just look disappointed, and that's pretty much it.
And while they're doing this, you notice the flitting around form of Twiggy pocketing some silks. But about that time,
Rapping.
During all of this, the brothers have walked up by the horse. You haven't really been paying attention since you're interacting with other things, but Dominic comes back. We could not help but overhear your conversations with this person, Umbak. I would like to inform you, so just so you know, we do not see another person that is with you. There is no person. Is this normal for your group?
Were they-
Go ahead, Dizzy. You
I
explain
was just
it.
gonna ask, were they there when we were inside the cavern and the tentacles were coming out of everywhere?
Only Dulcime was there.
Okay. So I guess we wouldn't be able to explain that.
So this morning, actually maybe 30-40 minutes ago, you were greeted by them, and they had said something to the effect of they heard that you had an interesting night last night, and something about I think one of them kind of sorry, I'm trying to remember back. I think one of them was like, we try to look out for our sister, so please don't endanger her with the whatever it is that you're carrying with you. So there, it is obvious that she told them what happened.
Okay.
So you could use that instead of them being there, as far as if you want to try and explain something.
No, I'm fine. I'm good.
Okay. So is this a normal thing for your group?
Oh no, not at all. Lilith is going to flat out lie. She is going to flat out lie to this man.
I feel
we
like
have no idea.
I feel like you are in conflict with this. I don't want to say imaginary person. This person that we cannot see. Is there any aid that we can give you?
This specter or this vision that has shown themselves to us just now is in the shape of a friend of ours, and it would be nice to know who is using his shape.
Ah, yes, there are many forms of such creatures in these lands. If it were something that were physical, I could likely give you a better answer, but I am concerned that with only you being able to see them, that I will not necessarily be the best of help, but I will do what I can. Dizzy or Twiggy, is there anything you want to say to Dominic?
I'm just gonna ask, do you have any way that we can, I guess, heal our friend? Make her a bit more comfortable, or...
I am concerned for my sister and also for your friend. I noticed that your companion, and he gestures towards Lilith, attempted to work some kind of magic on my sister, and it failed. This concerns me, and our own smelling salts did nothing to wake her either. My brothers and I were speaking, and we want to try and get to the nearest settlement. I believe we are in a realm called Harakur. It might be many miles before we reach it, and I hope that we have enough water. We did not plan on coming here. When we do plan to come here, we usually are better stocked.
Oh, I'm so grateful you know where we are.
We have been here a handful of times before. It's not a pleasant land, but ideally, as long as the dead remain dead, we should be okay. if we can find water should we run out.
What do you mean by if the dead remain dead?
Oh, there is a curse upon this land that the dead do not always stay in their place and sometimes walk amongst the living to feed. I would definitely watch your step as we continue on.
To feed, you said. Do they feed on? What do they feed on?
Typically the living.
Like their blood, their organs? What are they taking?
That is a good question. I've never really... they eat the body until it... Either they are full or maybe it is until they stop squirming or they get too chilly. I don't know.
Okay. Lilith is totally satisfied with that.
We're going to begin moving if that is all right. I don't want to cause any issues, but we do need to find shade before it is
Absolutely.
too
Well, let's
difficult
get
to move
moving.
on. If we do not find shade within the hour, we will stop for the day and we will put the horse in the shade of the wagon. We're hoping that there is a settlement nearby, though.
Okay. That sounds good.
I do recommend, ideally, none of us will get separated, but do not trust the land around you as the winds will reshape the dunes within minutes. We are fortunate in the fact that there are no winds currently, but should a dust storm arise, try to stay with the wagon or just get in the wagon and we will take care of the horse and of one another. Okay, so with that he walks off back towards the front. So Lilith requested Dizzy ride inside with Lyra, or is that something that you'd like to do, Dizzy?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. And so Lyra, are you going to be outside with the brothers, or are you also riding inside the wagon?
I'll be outside with the brothers.
Okay. And Twiggy, you have currently placed upon your person every piece of fabric that you could find that was soft, flowing, and colorful.
Fantastic.
Do you want to stay within the wagon as it moves, or do you want to go outside with Lilith?
I think I will be doing a mixture of both because I need desert wind to cause it all to flow and look really impressive.
Gotcha.
But also to get out of the sun and go back in the wagon. So much like a cat who doesn't really truly understand outside is outside and inside is inside, I shall, with all of the inability to focus, be doing both as often as I possibly can.
Sounds good. Which just furthers my theory that foxes are just cat dogs. Just saying.
They are cat dogs. They're a part of the family of forbidden cats, along with raccoons and who else
trash
is from the
pandas.
forbidden cat family? Yeah, there's a few. Cat skunks is a forbidden cat.
Possums?
Possums are a forbidden cat. Yeah, these are all forbidden cats.
Love it. All right. Well, with that inside, things kind of jostle around lightly as the wagon begins moving. Outside, Twiggy, as you are flying in and out every so often, it doesn't really seem like the landscape changes all that much. Like the dunes seem more off in the distance than they do super close, but every so often you can tell that there is a closer dune, and but the landscape itself doesn't really alter too much. I'll wait until Lilith comes back to Lilith, is there anything that you wanted to do in this early part of this walk?
I'm gonna keep muttering to my patron and keep my eye out for Umrak. And no, I think I'm just gonna We're gonna get there to the next town.
Okay.
Just feel like we can do this.
As you're keeping your eye out for Umrak, you never see him during this time, but there's this like kind of presence, almost like when he vanished, he didn't actually go away. You're just not seeing him. Maybe it's the oppressiveness of the heat, or you're worrying, but there's definitely like a strange watchfulness that's going on that makes you feel a little jittery.
Peeping Tom. He just has to be a peeping Tom.
Or
So
a
invasive.
watching Umrak?
Watching Umrak. So invasive.
We have to start that as a phrase.
Watching Umrak.
Right.
Watching Umrak.
It's like a sitcom.
Inside the wagon, Dizzy, is there anything that you wanted to do at this time?
I want to keep an extra close eye on Lyra's dagger, in case Umrak makes a reappearance.
Sure. You don't see Umrak reappear. You also get that feeling that you're being watched, or almost like something is present with you. But you never see a form appear. Every so often, Lyra does make noise in their sleep, and you do notice every so often, like, there's like a slight growth, like a protrusion of the horns that then like fades away, or like her eyes will open and be like elkish as she looks around like kind of wildly, and then they'll close again. You never get the feeling that she is awake during those times, though. It's more like
Okay.
she's definitely dreaming during that time, is the feeling you get.
But she seems pretty much alive.
Yeah,
No.
seems to be alive. And Dulcime seems just unconscious. Doesn't seem to be dreaming. But you can see like the rise and fall of her chest, and she doesn't seem to be. She also is alive as you're watching. Every so often, the window opens and in flies Twiggy, leaving the window open. It begins to get warmer. Flies back out again. Flies back in again. And thus passes a little over an hour, at which point the brothers call a halt and begin to unhitch the horse, lead it around to the shaded side of the wagon, and like have it lay down. I apologize. I wish that we had found something quickly, but it appears we are going to wait until night for the temperatures to cool. We can't continue on this. The horse will die.
Okay.
And you notice Enrico comes out, or he gets into the wagon, so you see this Dizzy pour some water into a bowl and takes it out for the horse to drink, along with an apple to eat. Is there anything that you'd like to do?
I think Lilith is actually going to prepare a prayer and ask for guidance from her deity. Even if she's, super far away, that's okay. So I think she's going to do that.
Is this more of a intentful thing, or is this a class or spell ability?
This is an intense thing.
Okay, sure thing. Go ahead and roll a charisma save for me, though.
Oh boy, again. You'd think I'd learn
The dice
that.
can't hit you forever, right? Oh my gosh, did you just roll a natural 20?
Wow.
How did that even happen?
That's amazing.
So you prepare this prayer, and in the preparation, this pain that kind of seems to be like this almost mental block, it spikes really hard, and you just blink it away, and your eyes actually tear up a little, and you force the pain down, and just through like your faith and your will, you push it away, and it's almost like there's an audible snap. No one else notices it, but you hear this like crack, and the pain just fades away, and you feel that connection just flood back into you, and
Amazing.
you feel like if you were to try magic now, it would do what you wanted it to do.
Okay. I think I'm gonna lay hands on Lyra first and see if I can't. Actually, I feel like I know what's wrong with Lyra, possibly. I think I'd like to do a prayer of healing on our seer first. Then,
Okay.
if that's at all possible.
Sure.
Maybe.
So you feel the magic flow through you and into Dulcime. If there were a wound that were keeping her unconscious, it would have healed and she should have woken up. However, she does stay unconscious. Yeah, I'm upset about it too. What a face. While this is going on, Twiggy, what are you up to?
I mean, we're stopped. It's the desert. No one has commented on how beautiful I am. And that's clearly the reason why we have not found an oasis. So I'm going to sit with a horse. And enjoy my silks. My silks now. They're mine now. And I've had them the whole time. And you know, I'm actually gonna do a upward little bit of scouting. There are no seagulls in deserts. Going upwards.
Okay. Make a perception check as you fly your way up.
Okay, perceiving.
$19. Nice. As you flit your way up, kind of, rather than, just soaring straight up, you circle about to make sure you're getting the full grand effect of the flowing silks. And so
yes,
you really get like a full 360 of what's around you. And at a certain point, you suddenly stop because you were just thinking about how there aren't seagulls here, but off in the distance there are certainly some flying shapes circling around, much like how you are right now, or you just were. It's hard to tell how far away they are, but there are some winged creatures for sure that are circling in the distance.
But they're not seagulls. Hard to tell if they're not seagulls from where I am.
They don't appear to be white. I'll give you that. They appear to have like darker feathering.
Excellent. I mean, I wouldn't have. There can't be. The seagulls are always white. I mean, like always. It's fine. But that's the only thing that's visible in the.
Yeah, you don't notice
horizon.
any towns, anything like that. There's up here you can see the better topography, I guess, of the dunes, but you don't notice any structures or plants that are not along this way. You've kind of noticed every so often there's like some scrub brush that is just like thistly, barky, with little leaves and nothing really that's.
Are these not seagulls concentrated in a spiral somewhere, or are they just kind of?
Yeah.
Is it in the direction that the horse is facing?
Not quite, but it is So if you were to look in the direction that the horse is facing, it's a little off to the right.
Okay. Well, I mean, we can't like expect the horse to have perfect directional skills. Go down and I'm gonna. Who would know about these sorts of things? Probably Dizzy. Dizzy knows about these things, right? They know songs about birds,
That is true.
right?
They have
Yeah,
sung songs
so-
to you about bird. In fact, I feel like maybe around episode 1 or 2, they were singing to you about how the seagulls weren't going to get you or something. I feel like that was a thing. I could be wrong on that.
Possible.
Possible.
They totally know songs about birds. Surely they do. So I'm gonna go down and when birds who aren't as elegant as myself in their spinning in the sky, which is clearly them trying to emulate my amazing spinning in the sky. What kind of birds are those?
Would I happen to know the answer to this?
Why don't you do a nature check? And prior to Twiggy asking you this, nice roll. Prior to Twiggy asking you this, is there anything that you were doing as far as, are you still hanging out inside after the wagon has stopped? Or are you...
I'm still hanging out inside. I'm not really doing much of anything right now.
Okay. So as you're watching over Lyra, Twiggy flits in, asks this question. You have definitely seen and heard vultures and crows and blackbirds do this kind of behavior that he's describing. Is there anything you want to do with that info?
Sorry. Oh boy. Well, I mean, I feel like the birds would be trying to tell us something. I'm going to see it as a sign that we should follow the birds.
And Dizzy, do you want to tell him that it's not seagulls, or do you want to tell him what it is?
I'll just say it's not seagulls.
Okay.
I think that's-
I knew it, because
The important
seagulls are
part.
always white, right? They're always white. And they wouldn't know how to spiral in the sky if, a spiral were to hit them in the face. Also, the horse is kind of looking in that direction, which is like kind of what Umrak was like kind of saying, that it was in that direction. Not that we're going in that direction because he wants us to go to that direction, because that would be agreeing to something, which we have not done. But there are not seagulls spiraling in that direction, and thought you to know.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Lilith, what did you want to say?
Oh, I agree completely wholeheartedly with Twiggy and with Dizzy.
Gotcha.
And we should just let's check it out.
So I'm going to need Twiggy to make a con save at disadvantage, and Dizzy to make a con save at advantage.
And it ties the chaos that.
I would save it. You
Okay.
both did just what you needed to.
Perfect.
The oppressive heat has definitely weighed on you. You're heavily sweating, but you managed to kind of fend off the worst of the effects, drinking some water, and Twiggy, as you've been fluttering around, trying to keep the wind cooling yourself and keeping the sweat from matting up your fur too much, because every so often you prestidigitate, but gets old.
It is a lot of work, and I need, my other army of wizards to do that for me, but
Right?
they're busy right now, doing other things that I have tasked them to do, like task other people to do things for them, which in turn is doing things for me, because wizards are part of a gigantic pyramid scheme. Don't you know this? That's how this works.
I mean, if ever anyone was to know that, I feel like it would be a Fae,
Is this an Amway situation?
right?
It's
Wizards of
totally a
Amway.
situation.
So the day seems to last much longer than you're expecting. You're not really sure when you arrived nor how long the days are here, but time seems to crawl by as you're sitting in this oppressive heat trying to stay cool. But finally the sun, you notice, has dropped far enough into the sky as to be really noticeable. It's beginning to cool off slightly and darken a little, at which point you hear the sounds of the brothers hooking the horse back up, and the wagon begins trundling forward.
We tell them about the knot birds, or like, should they be surprised by them? They're probably still spiraling because that'd be like, birds don't know when to stop.
I feel like they would know because they've been here before. So maybe we should just tell them about the birds and be like, what does this mean?
Oh, like they would know what it means, not like they would know that they're there.
Maybe both? I don't know.
Oh, it's true.
Mm-hmm. Because they've been here before at least, and maybe through their sister they might know of some kind of like additional meaning that would give us at least a little bit more information.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Lilith is gonna head over to the brothers and just kind of say, like, you know, this is what they've seen, and you know, do you know if it means anything?
Likely it is a dead creature that is, or likely a dead or dying creature that is being fed upon by vultures. How far away did you say? We will do our best to avoid this. As I say, the dead do not always stay dead.
But what if they could work for us? What if we could make it so they could work for us?
I have no idea what you are saying. I understand the words, but I don't know what you mean.
Okay. I'm very intrigued by these dead things. I want to know more. If you guys wanted to avoid it, and we could just quickly go out and see what it was, that might be of interest to us.
I see. You say it is in that direction?
Yeah, it's kind of the direction we're already going, right?
We could... why don't we do this? We could travel another short while, and then if you want to go off during the cooler hours to do so, we will likely take a small break, let the horse rest, get some shut-eye ourselves, and then we'll continue on probably 3 hours. So you could.
Wonderful.
Okay.
What do you guys think? I'm gonna address everybody else.
Sounds good to me.
We just have to travel in the way that the horse is facing. So, like, you know, I guess the horse isn't facing in the direction of the birds, then I guess that's not the way we're supposed to go anyway. But since I think the horse is technically facing that direction, we're going to have to go that direction. Not because we're doing it because we have to or have agreed to, just because that's what's happening to be what we're doing at the moment.
Okay. All right. So, and the wagon has been traveling along for a while at this point, anyway. And so, Twiggy, how would you like to figure out where the birds are?
Something the Druidcraft can do. Detect bird. How dark is it right now?
The sun is like setting, so it's still light out.
I'll do another spiral up, see what I can see if they're still doing the thing.
Sure.
The not seagulls.
The not seagulls. Go ahead and do another perception at advantage, since you have a general idea of where they should be.
Launch hedge.
Nice. As you spiral up and you're looking for them, you notice that there are a couple. They're much closer. In fact, you pretty much just need to. The horse is going that way, and you're going to need to go that way pretty soon towards the birds if you want to go investigate. Otherwise, you're going to be backtracking as well. But there's less in the sky, and you're. I'm going to leave that up to you on what you think that means.
They got bored. Some of them got bored and they went home. Or they are taking a nap. I mean, one of the two. I mean, that's usually how things work with birds. Totally. In my book on Birds, A True History of Science by Twiggy. Yep.
Absolutely. All right, so is everyone down to go and investigate these birds and whatever it is they may apparently be feeding upon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. As you head off through the cooling desert, the heat is less oppressive, and Twiggy kind of guides you around to find where they noticed them. Sorry, I'm moving tokens here. Tokens. Zoom. And you come to like this small, not quite a valley, but there are some sand dunes that have built up around, and there's a slight breeze that's blowing in between them. And up ahead, you definitely notice what looks like a large gathering of these birds. They seem fairly large. They're actually bigger than Twiggy, and they're kind of roosting at this point on what looks like a large, hairy creature or the corpse thereof.
Let's check out who this is and what's going on.
Okay. As you get closer, sorry, Lyra's not with you either. As you get closer, you notice that this dead creature was likely the closest thing that you could really connect it with would be like some kind of yak or something. It's definitely dead. Definitely been fed upon by these things, and as you get closer you can see their beaks every so often biting into it and tearing off chunks of it, and they just kind of chill and have dinner.
Alright, well, I guess that's that. We know what it was. Or we know now what it is. What it was when it was alive. Cool. Lilith is gonna just kind of investigate around. Let's see if there's anything significant about the yak.
Sure.
They're
Make a
insight?
so I'm debating between perception and actually do me a favor, make both a perception and an investigation.
Perception and investigation.
So as you're looking around this corpse, it doesn't appear that there is anything all that spectacular about it, although it does have a harness on. And there are some... Actually, we'll do it this way. So you're looking like for some kind of signs as to maybe why this thing died or whatever, and like what it's doing here. And you notice that it has a harness, And then out of the corner of your eye, you notice that there are some mostly covered, what looks like maybe saddlebags or something. They're covered by sand. It's likely that they've been there for at least a few hours, and you notice that the sand is kind of blowing across it with the wind that's coming down through this valley.
All right, well, Lilith is going to go get those saddlebags.
Okay.
Maybe there's something in there that can help us.
While this is happening, Dizzy, what are you up to?
I want to go along and check as well because
Okay.
you know, with saddlebags, there's probably loot. So
Loot or a loot?
yeah.
Why don't you also make a perception check? And Twiggy, what are you up to?
Sizing up these not seagulls. They talk. Are they talking to each other?
Every so often they make these like noises at each other, or one will screech. It seems less language and more. It feels maybe a little territorial to you.
Like those spider people. Mm-hmm.
Right, just
Right.
like the spider people.
Just like the spider people.
All right. You said
Oh, I mean, just thinking about the spider people and how they're just like these not seagulls. You know, as one does.
as one does.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I need a piece of art here. Give me just a second.
Of like horrifying vulture spider people, like
Right?
a spider vulture. That would be horrifying.
Not exactly what I need. Neither's this. We're just gonna use this. Assume it looks like what I told you. And Lilith, you've kind of gone off over this way. Dizzy is with you. There are vultures around as well. But as you're glaring at them, Twiggy, one of them cries out in a manner that they didn't before, and all of them take wing and begin to spiral up and away from the corpse. You're not sure if it's something that you did right or something you did wrong, but obviously they are reacting.
This is actually an invitation. I think I'm going to sing "In the Arms of an Angel" by Sarah McLachlan. That's the right person, right? On the arms of a Dizzy, Twiggy.
I'm pretty sure if it was that song, you'd have to do a slow motion capture of this poor dead animal, and then
ask for totally
donations.
Would be that.
Right.
With my silks like flying in the background as I'm like soaring with these vultures. Oh man, imagine the commercial on that one.
Once every 3 days, one of these desert yaks dies of starvation. Only you can help.
Your donation of 3 gold pieces a day.
Right.
Oh my god.
You can get this special t-shirt with a dead yak on it to remind you. Okay.
Yes, I'm gonna go spiral up with them.
Okay.
It's gonna be beautiful. I'm embracing this moment. Now is my time to one with these majestic creatures that are definitely not seagulls.
Yeah, definitely not.
Definitely not.
How high do you want to go?
How high are they going?
It seems like they're going fairly high. They're about, at the time you make this decision, they're about 25, 30 feet above the ground. They've moved
I feel like
once,
we'd have
essentially.
to do them one better, just
60,
because we're
60
so
is
bad
like-
with-
Yeah, actually, no, you are very right, and I should be doing more than them. But I'm gonna cap out at 60 feet because like there are like the ultra seagulls that are like the ones that live in the clouds.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the cloud gulls, and they are far worse. The clouds over the sea are even worse than the normal cloud gulls and the seagulls combined. Which is why you don't go flying over the ocean in a storm.
So you wanna be 60 feet in the air?
I'll hover at 60. If they keep going up, I mean, I can only sing in the arms of a seagull like so much, you know.
Totally. I did go ahead and put your height in your blue bubble when you click on your token, just so we can keep track of it. So convenient. You're on roll 20.
So convenient.
So the vultures all take off, and not willing to be outdone, Twiggy soars after them in the most graceful way possible. Dizzy and Lilith, what are you up to as you near the saddlebags and the vultures take off?
I mean, I'll just, go to the saddlebags, look around. I want to investigate around to see if there's, like, anything I should alert myself to, but I want to just, pick up what's there and open it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna do the same. Just kind of look around and also check inside the saddlebags.
Okay.
Well, also, where's a rider? If there's saddlebags and the yak was like a beast of burden with a rider, where is that rider? But I want to keep that in mind as we're doing that.
So, remind me, your passive is 16, correct?
Yes.
And Dizzy, yours is 13?
Passive perception?
Yeah.
Is 12.
12. I was close. As you walk up and you kind of shake the sand off of this and are looking at it, and it seems like the leather strap that would keep it on has been severed. And there are some slashes across it, almost like it's taken some damage from being hacked at before. It's hard to tell if this is a new thing or if that's if it has any reason to do with why it's on the ground, but it does appear to have stuff in it. It's fairly heavy, and as you're listening to the birds fly off and the sand is pouring off of this saddlebag, once the sand is done falling off of it, Lilith, you notice that you hear sand falling still, even though you don't see it and you're not really sure, and it clicks suddenly that you're hearing something behind you.
Ooh, check it out.
And you notice rising out of the sand, right about there, is a feasted upon corpse that looks like immediately looks as though it's like a dehydrated person, except for the fact that it's like missing chunks of flesh. One of its eyes is gone, the other one is kind of dangling out and seems to be almost severed, and it begins trudging toward you. Why don't we?
Oh, we were warned about this.
We were warned about this.
Why don't we click on our tokens and roll initiative?
Fabulous.
But it did not. I guess it didn't register for me.
Alright, I'm going to cast Vigilant Blessing, which I can any old time, and give it. It's actually, never mind. It's one action. Can't do it. Can't do it.
I wonder why the initiative... Oh, there it goes. Initiative wasn't showing up for a moment there. Dizzy, you said you got a 9?
Oh no, I got a 17.
Oh, 17. Sorry about that.
But it didn't register for whatever reason. Also, what is Is that 18.18 or?
It is 18.18. It's for ties when it comes to.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do Sundering. So Twiggy in the air, you are following after. Actually, you've risen above at this point, and you kind of do that like rise into the fading sunlight. It would be the moonlight if it was that dark out, and you just hover there for a moment. Is there anything you like to do?
So I'm above the vultures.
Yeah, so they went about 30 feet, and you're about 30 feet above them as you shot up.
I mean, amateurs.
Right?
Well, I'm gonna look down and, of course, see if they are gazing upon my awesomeness. Which I guess the vultures are not.
You do see like a funnel of vultures that are spinning around, and it seems like some of them are starting to break away and fly off, not in the direction you came from, but more kind of in the direction you were heading. And but other ones are still in the funnel. What is your passive perception?
Super high. The highest. Passive 13.
Highest. You do notice that down below there are the forms of your friends and another form that is walking towards them.
Are they even looking at me? Like, I've got the silks fluttering, like...
Some of the birds are, for sure.
But, I mean, is Lilith or Tizzy? No? Is the new friend even looking?
Nope.
Every time. I'm gonna just maybe hover, like, go back down 30 feet just to see, like, strike another pose and see if they see me. I mean, it's kind of a far way to see what's actually going on down there. But maybe if I get a little bit closer, I can see why they aren't taking in this gloriousness.
Yeah, as you hit the 30-foot mark, like the funnel of vultures kind of explodes out, and they fly out and off into the direction that you saw the rest of them heading just a moment ago. Looking down, it doesn't appear. I guess with your 16, Lilith, you would notice that there is a sudden break in the funnel of the vultures that were rising up, and Twiggy all of a sudden is there. But I don't know if you... I'll give you a reaction that isn't a reaction if you want to be like, oh, what majesty, or whatever.
Yes. Lilith is going to zoom out. Twiggy, it's spectacular. Just so he can hear it. Because it's less about the reaction, it's more about the perception.
Right.
The reaction. It's so beautiful. And just make sure that he's able to hear that.
So you get a reaction, and you still have your action because that was your movement. I think your fly speed is 30, right?
It is 30 feet.
Okay.
So I'm going to cast minor illusion to light myself up.
Okay.
Sunset behind me, maybe like some I don't know, like the other like sprites, kind of like in a big like mandala pattern, to really make sure that there's like, just like a big gigantic like bullet mark in the sky.
Right.
So that
Absolutely.
our new friend can also notice me, because like new friend clearly doesn't realize how important this moment is.
Right. So, speaking of the new friend, Dizzy, you notice this new friend has risen from the sand. Seems like they were covered fairly well by it, and there's like funnels of, not funnels of sand, but like fountains of sand kind of like pouring out of its holes. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna vicious mockery.
Okay. And I will say, with your 13, you do notice that there is this fireworks mandala gloriousness that is your friend Twiggy in the sky as well.
Okay.
It needs to make a wisdom save or intelligence?
Wisdom.
4.
Okay, well that is a fail. Let me roll. That's terrible.
I mean, it could be worse, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so it also has no reaction.
Wait, no. It has disadvantage on the next attack roll.
Even better. Okay, cool. Sorry, it's been a bit since that one has gone off. That's your action. Is there anything you want to do to move or a bonus action?
I'm actually gonna move behind Lilith.
You get it.
Good call.
All right. So, let's see, bloop, bloop. You definitely feel like it had an effect, and as it stumbles towards Lilith, it's going to take a swipe.
Oh no. What a Jerkosaurus.
After it glares at Lilith. Yes, it glares at you with its eye socket, which is kind of pouring some sand out, and there's sand stuck to its flesh and its one eyeball. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw, Lilith.
Oh boy.
11. 11 is what you need. There's like this kind of shuddery feeling, like it's a little creepy, but other than that, everything's fine. And then it will take its at disadvantage swipe at you. Does an 8 hit you?
Does not.
I'm shocked. Shocked, I tell you. It just stumbles forward and swipes its kind of gnarled, Richterous hands at you. And you notice that there's more motion coming from over here.
No.
Oh.
Oh, wrong button. And one over here. All right. So what would you like to do in response? It is your turn, Lilith.
I think this is a moment for the spiritual weapon to come out.
Fair enough.
Spiritual weapon needs to come and absolutely take a swipe. If a 14 will hit.
Let me make sure you have access to move this token.
Yeah, I can move it.
Can you move the hammer?
The hammer. Yeah.
Perfect. Why don't you drop that hammer where you would like it? And then a 14, you say.
Yes. Yes. Quite.
Well, of course I closed the window, because why not, right? A 14 absolutely will hit.
Yay.
And it does 8 force damage, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
And then I still get to do another thing. In which
You
case,
do.
I'm going to do an Aurora of Vitality, which is within a 30-foot radius all around me. It will give, let's see here, don't even want to do it now. You can use as a bonus action to cause one creature in the area, including you, to regain. You know what? Nope, I'm not going to do that yet.
Okay. And your
your
bonus action was actually the other spell, because
Oh,
I believe isn't spiritual weapon a bonus action?
Yeah, I don't know.
So you have a full-on action now. Is
I have
there?
a full-on action.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna turn around and whack him, but I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use my my special sword, the one that everybody wants.
Okay.
However, I'm gonna roll my mace.
Right.
Pulled out.
Yeah, we should set that sword up as a weapon for you on your page.
Yeah, probably.
The 19 will absolutely hit. Roll 2d6 for me.
Let's see here. 2d6.
For a 5. You do notice that in the past when you have used this, that there was like kind of this like extra effect that doesn't seem to affect this creature in front of you.
Okay.
But it does. You hear a resounding crack as your spiritual hammer smacks into it, and then a gash appears where you sliced it. So it did do the sword damage to it. Absolutely.
Okay.
So that's your bonus action, and your action. Do you want to stay where you are?
I think I will. 'Cause
Okay.
I don't want to get a swipe.
So Twiggy, at least Lilith has commented on the grandeur, and you obviously caused 2 other beings to rise from the sand with your majesty.
Clearly. But
Clearly.
this new friend, I mean, I don't know what these other 2 are doing, but this new friend took a swipe at Lilith for some reason, and then Lilith tried to hit it with a magic hammer. So clearly that thing needs to be put in its place, because it is. Maybe if we put that thing in its place, the other 2 will fall in line and also recognize my glory.
Right.
As is the way. So I'm gonna dive down. Just an angry little ball of anger. Right.
The 19 will absolutely hit.
With a booming blade with that as well. For 7 points of piercing and 4 Thundercats.
Thundercats.
Thundercats. Yeah. It'll make a big loud noise. Hopefully that will also draw, adoration and applause.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
usually where there's some noise, there's be more.
Excellent. Yeah. Is that all the things?
That's a move and an attack.
All right. So you soar down from the skies using your rapier to stab into this. There's a booming sound. Good sized chunks of it fly off. And Dizzy, what do you do?
How is this thing looking?
It is looking, it was looking like a half-eaten corpse to begin with, and there are definitely larger chunks that have been hacked off of it. It's a little hard to determine, but you feel pretty confident that it's being whittled down.
Okay, I guess I'll come up and swing at it with my rapier.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's a miss.
11 is a hit, actually.
Oh. For 10 points of piercing damage.
Nice. So you skewer a good size hole in its. What were you aiming for?
I guess the chest, some part of the chest.
So there's like a slight wheezing noise as some air is let out of its lungs as you stab into it. Anything else?
That is all.
Okay. On its turn, it glares at Twiggy, and like its dangling eye kind of turns slightly and looks at Twiggy. Twiggy, make a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom.
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 I keep meaning to change the music.
There you are. $16.
16. It's a little weird. Kind of gives you the willies, but nothing overly frightful about it. It will, however, then swing its fist at you. Does a 9 hit you? Yeah.
No.
I am shocked.
No.
I am shocked. I am rolling so well.
mean, I think that it just can't bring itself to strike this glorious vision that he has before him.
I would agree with that.
The other two that you had made aware of your majesty do shamble towards you. One of them seems to like have to double time it to make it to you, and the other one reaches out in adoration and tries to swat you from the air.
No autographs.
But you deftly dodge out of the way. Lilith.
I have experience with the paparazzi. It's fine.
Lilith, what would you like to do?
Oh boy. Well, I'm gonna, I guess, try again with the spiritual weapon.
Okay. On the same one? There are actually 3 now adjacent to it, so the 19 will absolutely hit. Okay.
So just to kind of get going with that first.
Excellent.
And then
I've cracked down on it, and like a chunk of its shoulder like falls off with the force of it, and like you can see that the clavicle and such has like shattered under the blow.
ew. And let's try some moonbeam. I think I'd like to try a moonbeam, but behind them in a way where it will affect them.
Okay. Let me get a circle drawn here for you. Let's do a nice moonbeamy color. Maybe this one. And circle. I don't know why I didn't draw it in the 5-foot square. Yeah, okay. Can you ping where you would like it?
Let's continue on with this guy.
Okay, so to hit...
I mean, it'd be nice if it also somehow hit this guy as well.
To hit that one...
Would have to be in this? Where the spiritual weapon is?
It wouldn't be able to hit both of them. You could hit the 2 over here by putting it there.
Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. That would be perfect.
So at the start of their turn, they will make their saves. Anything else?
That'll do it.
Okay. So Twiggy... They both took swipes at you. You're not sure if they were trying to like paw at you adoringly or something, but their hands were kind of twisted into kind of claw-like shapes, and they didn't seem all that friendly. What would you like to do?
Did we skip Dizzy?
I believe Dizzy stabbed it with a...
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's only 3 of you, so it's just going that fast.
It is going pretty fast.
Well, these two are lit up. Although the spotlight needs to be over here. That's fine. That's fine. We'll work on the lighting later. We're going
Do you want to fly into the spotlight?
I mean, as much as I really want to, I have this other adoring fan who needs to be put down.
Sometimes your fans get rabid and they just have to be put down.
They just have to be put down. This one is an 11 to hit. I believe it hits, yeah?
That will hit.
for 5 points of piercing and 7 Thundercats.
Okay. The booming. Where do you hit it?
Right in his nose hole.
So you stab the rapier in its nose hole, and the boom blows off chunks of its head, and there's just like this kind of moon-shaped arc of its skull and a little bit of flesh hanging on, and it kind of tilts in, and it doesn't even have an eye left, and it's just kind of standing there. It hasn't fallen over, but it's not doing well.
Well, that. I mean, usually that works. I'm gonna stay right there. I'm gonna stay right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Dizzy, this thing looks like it's just barely holding itself upright. It's missing most of its head. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna try to finish it off with the rapier slash or stab rather.
Nice. That absolutely hits.
For 4 damage.
For 4 damage, you manage to stab into it, and you do shake it around, like try to do as much damage. You're not really sure. It's just kind of standing there at this point. It's having a hard time staying upright, but it is still standing. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
There is not.
Okay. All right. On the beginning of their turn, they both make dex saves. Is that right for Moonbeam? Okay. Well, these things are going to be amazing at dex saves. Let me tell you, we've got a 0 and a 16. That one wasn't too bad. Go ahead and roll your damage because it is safe for half. Is there an extra effect on undead or if they fail their save?
I have to read through it again because I haven't used it in quite some time.
Right, it's been a bit. Go ahead and roll your damage, and then we'll go from there. I know it's safe for half, so that first one is going to light up and take a whole bunch of damage.
All right, well, just roll the darn thing. Roll the darn thing. That come through.
12 radiant, excellent.
Radiant.
The other will take 6, and I think that is it. As long as they start their turn there, they will continue to take damage. The one who made it save doesn't really notice the damage being done to it, but the other one, which is this upper one, does kind of shuffle away from it. We'll go over there and is going to take a swipe at Twiggy.
Get on.
11?
No.
What?
Oh,
No.
you know
I'm
what?
shocked.
That looks.
And
It's a Constitution save.
oh, con save. We'll just keep those rolls for this time, but I will
All right.
remember that next time. And then the other just staying where it's at because it doesn't really feel it. It wouldn't have made a difference. It would have got a it would have got a 3. Should have been, it had been a con instead. But the other one does take a swing. 15 is gonna miss Twiggy.
50 misses.
Okay. And the one in front of Lilith is also going to reach up and just kind of claw at the air at disadvantage. Does a 9 hit you?
It does not.
It's like not even like really a problem anymore. It just kind of swings blindly at you.
Oh. You
And-
feel sad for them. You feel sorry for them.
Well, is your turn to decide what you want to do with that feeling of sadness.
Oh boy. Well, I'm pretty certain I would like to spiritual weapon
Okay.
this poor sad creature and put it out of its misery.
It does actually roll at advantage because it is. We're gonna say it's blinded by its head blowing up,
It's
and the
very
11
sad.
will hit. Perfect.
Okay, awesome. And we'll do some damage on that.
You hear the sickening crunch. Where does it hit it?
Oh, it hits it right, kind of like in the chestal area.
In the chestal area. Perfect. Yeah. So that where its
Where-
clavicle was
at an angle,
exposed,
Yeah.
just
Turning
smashes
its
into it.
clavicle all the way down, like a banana.
Banana. Perfect. And it collapses to the ground in two horrid pieces.
Yes.
All right, so that's your bonus action.
Sweet. Well, then I will turn around and, well, actually try and make a swing at this guy because he's the closest.
Okay.
And I am going to take my handy dandy fun sword that doesn't really do anything extra to them and take a whack.
Whack away. The 18 will absolutely hit. So that's 2d6.
Fantastic.
Actually
Well, this
messed up last time.
sorry.
No, that's perfect. Roll one more d6 just on its own because I forgot to add your strength last time. So it'll be
One more
9 damage. Perfect. Oh, wrong one though. Alright, so the one that you just carved up a little bit is looking worse than the one that's currently in the moonbeam. Do you want to stay where you are?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay where I'm at.
Okay. So then we come back to Twiggy. This one next to you, down and to your left, is gone. I'm gonna put a bloop on it just so you know.
Boop.
And Lilith just carved up the one north of you, we'll call it. The other
Okay.
one is standing partway in a moonbeam, slowly sizzling away. What would you like to do?
Here. My AC should be 15, and I'm not really sure why it's showing 17. I don't understand why it's doing that. I can't find. I'll fix it.
Okay.
Just weird. I was just noticing that. I was like, how is that? What is that? I don't have a shield on me, do I? No. Anyway, second verse, same as the first. Thundercat stuff.
13 will hit. Which one are you swiping at?
The one that Lilith just hit.
Okay.
So that'll be 8 points of piercing, 8 points of Thundercats. Yeah, I'm gonna hang out where I'm at.
Okay. So chunks of it fly off in the booming strike that you land upon it as Dizzy does what?
I will use Dissonant Whispers.
Okay. Which one are you using it on?
The one that. How badly hurt does the one on the moonbeam look?
Not all that comparatively. Again, it's kind of hard to tell because they are damaged.
Right.
But it looks like more damage has been done since them rising from the sand. Their wounds that are newer don't have sand clinging to them. The one up from the group has more damage done to it.
Okay, I will cast it on the moonbeam one.
Okay. Wisdom, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
14, perfect. 20 psychic. And it has to run away, correct?
Yes.
All right, so it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lands there. I guess I shouldn't say land. It didn't hop. It like trudged away from you quickly. there's no sign that you did damage to it other than it ran away. So it definitely failed its save.
Right.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay.
That's it for me.
As it stops here, it stops and looks around a bit and then turns back around, and it's just gonna like slowly trudge around over to here, and looks like it like walked around the corpse but is avoiding the column of light and is heading back towards the two of you. Meanwhile, the other one up top is going to take a swipe at Twiggy once again. And we'll roll a 20.
Wow.
Oh. Shield. It is a 17. I'm stupid. It's not strength plus dex, it's dex plus con.
So your shield will
armor
make it
class.
22.
22.
Okay, so as it almost strikes you, you throw up this magical shield and its claws, like it's like a bug hitting the window where there's like left behind as it smears across the shield, and then your shield drops away. But it definitely there was gook from its rotting self left there. And that was their turn. Lilith, what do you do?
Oh boy. I'm gonna move my spiritual weapon over to the guy that's trying to make it around the moonbeam.
Okay.
I'm gonna shut the moonbeam down, and we're
Okay.
going to just go ahead and swipe him with that spiritual weapon.
That will definitely hit.
Well, damage. 11 damage.
Excellent.
And then I'm going to turn to the one that's trying to get Twiggy, and let's just make a regular old swipe at that guy.
Okay.
There we go, and then one more d6.
Nice. And then perfect. Okay. Sorry while I math here. Nope, that's not right. There we go. Okay.
Use, guys.
You do take a large chunk of it away with your swipe as your spiritual hammer walks into the other one. Anything else?
That'll do it.
All right, Twiggy. The one that has been trying to get your autograph just can't seem to do much to hit you and is rapidly being put down. What would you like to do?
I'll provoke.
My people, my fans.
Let's see here. 5, 10, 15. So I'll go over there. We'll provoke.
Okay. It will take a
I'm
swipe
gonna
at you.
Thundercat that guy in his face.
But we'll miss.
Yeah. So 10 points of damage,
Okay.
5 of which is Thundercats.
Thundercat damage.
And then, let's see, what is that? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and then 30. So I'll flip it around to the other side there. And
'Kay.
provoke with this guy as well.
Sure. It will also take a swipe at you. And will, actually his hand falls off as it, swipes in the air.
I'll strike oppose.
Okay. Dizzy. Both of them appear about equally injured in the way that a corpse can be injured. What would you like to do?
I'll move there and I'll swing at this one with my rapier.
Okay.
I'm guessing that misses.
The 9 will miss.
Alright, that is it for me.
Okay, so you stab forward, it kind of stumbles a little bit, and you miss just barely. Bringing us to its turn. It does look over at you and will attempt to glare at you if you could do a wisdom saving throw. However, even though it's grotesque and kind of gives you the willies, it is ineffective, and it's going to take a swipe at Lilith.
Of course.
Does a 17 hit you?
It does not.
Okay, so you managed to block its rotting hand, and the other one is going to move to there. It like tries to walk around, tries to walk through the hammer, but can't, and so it just kind of does the like clipping plane thing where it just slides off to the side, and then tries to attack Twiggy.
He'll take 12 points of Thundercat's damage as he
Perfect.
moves. Kaboom! Thundercats!
Like large chunks of it fly backwards as it lurches forward to swipe at you, missing you widely. It actually is going to kind of it's going to fall prone as it does so. Is there a prone? I don't remember. That's right. I've got a backache. I'm prone. I believe that's all of theirs. So Lilith, what would you like to do?
Well, I would like to get that spiritual hammer going again.
Sure, it has advantage because it fell over.
Let's go ahead and run that.
Absolutely hits.
Yeah.
You can't not kill it with this. So how does the spiritual hammer end this creature?
So it's on the ground?
It is.
Oh, let's see. The spiritual hammer comes down and then kind of smears.
Like draws a design in the
Okay,
sand with
comes
its...
down and it smears the body parts a little bit, and then like smears again, just to like sort of get the goo off of it, because it just doesn't like, feel gooey.
It has been smeared. And then you still have a turn.
Yeah, and then, well, I think I'll go ahead and take a thwack at this guy.
Sure.
Take another thwack.
That'll absolutely hit.
Fantastic. And do some damage. And we'll do some adding. There we go.
Excellent. You carve off. Where did you hit it?
I think I'd like to take its leg. I want to take its leg off.
Sure. It actually, especially with all the damage that's already been done to it, it actually knocks the leg right off, and it will fall prone if I can click the right button. Boop. Oh, my back. Okay. It is still moving around on the ground, still animated, we'll say alive in air quotes, as it moves to Twiggy.
Right. We'll flit over here and hit it for 6 points of piercing and 4 points of Thundercats.
Perfect. So where do you hit it?
Right in the butt.
So as you stab it in the butt,
Like
and
a signature.
right, and the boom causes this explosion. Dizzy and Lilith, just like bits of insides that would be from the lower torso area and flesh and stuff, just like kind of coat you as it explodes, and it also stops moving.
Strike a pose.
Strike a pose.
And
Minor illusion.
Right, as you wipe away the rotting flesh and crap and stuff from your eyes, in front of you is this of Twiggy. What would you like to do?
Oh boy.
I will prestidigitate the filth away from my companions, as that's no good. That's not the kind of memoir we want to be bringing back with us to the cart. Memento. There will be memoirs, but memento is the word I was looking for.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I will prestidigitate. Prestidigitate.
So
The party.
while Twiggy kind of flies around and over the course of the next few rounds essentially cleans you two off, what would you like to do? Are you continuing to check out the bag, or are you...
Oh yeah, I'm gonna check out the bag. We did all that stuff, so...
Roll a d6 for me. So inside the bag is a leather-bound book. There are 3 vials of liquid that are stoppered with wax-covered corks. So you have to like break the wax off to open it, and it keeps the liquid inside as they're jostling around inside the bag. And there is... So I said the book and the 2... there are coins as well. The coins, you don't recognize the minting on them, and they're kind of uneven in their shape. But each of them have a hole in the center, and they're strung onto what looks like a metal hook that closes on itself.
Okay.
And as the sun sets and just the slight illumination from the horizon is what you have left to kind of take in the scene around you, you notice in the distance the vultures are still fleeing the scene, and we will end there for the week because it's about that time, or a little past that time. But nice job.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Any questions?
No.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for watching. If you are watching live, tune in next week as we continue the story, heading towards maybe a showdown with Umrak, maybe a freeing of... I don't... We'll see what happens. But check out everyone's links in the show notes if you're watching on YouTube. There are also links below that you can head over and pick up Wanderer's Haven stuff from Threadless, or you can buy coffee from Found Familiar and get 10% off using the code that is WHPubs, but it's also listed below. I think that's it. I feel like there's more stuff that I should be saying, but if there is, I'll put it in the show notes. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you next time. Bye.